Hello guys, it's Pete from MyJewelryBench.com. Today we're going to cover a quick repair of this watch. This is a ladies mechanical gold watch, solid gold, and the problem with this watch is it came from another shop. The shop did a movement swap on this. It looks like they replaced the hands with, I'm going to say those are pocket watch hands, spade hands that don't particularly go with this watch, but that's okay. And we have an issue that commonly happens with a movement swap and a hand replacement, and that is the watch hands lock against the dial indicators. So this is a quick fix, and we're going to go ahead and open this up and fix this little problem real quick. So before I get started, I just want to cover some of the tools that you'll need to do this repair. Like I said, it is a very simple repair, so we're not going to need a lot of tools to get through this. It's good to have a pair of tweezers around. We have our hand pusher tool, and that's to push down the hand or align it correctly. I have a pry tool here, or a hand tool, so you can use these for hand removal or to pry a watch open. It's got a nice little bent end on it. And of course some screwdrivers of different sizes, so you want to keep those handy. And our watch. First thing we need to do is figure out how to open this watch, and there should be, as we can see here, the clip to open this mechanical movement up. So I'm going to use my pry tool. I'm going to get under my band here and just slowly open this watch up very carefully. Looks like it's been handled a little rough in the past. So if I pry that up a little bit, should be able to remove the whole movement. Now the beauty part of this is I don't really have to take anything else apart. We just have to figure out where the hand is hitting, and I'm going to get this in focus here. You can see that it hits right here on the 3 indicator, and it won't go any further, which would stop the watch. And if I come back around, it also hits the 6 indicator, so that's not a good thing. I am just going to use my flat end of the hand tool, just like so, and I'm going to try to angle this hand back up. Like so. And now I'm going to go around and just make sure that it doesn't hit anything. Again, I'm going to get this in focus. And you can see it works good. Now, this is a common problem when you do a movement replacement or hand replacement on a watch. Sometimes if you don't put the hands on correctly, you can run into this problem. So we want to make sure the watch still winds, which it does. If I pull this out to the click, first click, I can set the hands, and then we want to look at the level of the hands. So I'm going to try to get this just like so. Let me get my finger under there with the glove on so we can see the level of the hand. And you can see that hand is bent. I probably would have used a straight hand on that just to cover myself. That way we run the risk with a bent hand of rubbing against the inside of the crystal, and of course that bent tip can also rub against the dial indicators, as it has in this case. So right now I think we're pretty good. The next thing I want to do is just quickly test and make sure that that hand isn't going to flop down if it's hit. So again, I'm going to come in here, going to put a little pressure on it, see if it's pretty stiff. It is, which is a good thing. That means it's hanging onto that pinion, or the cannon pinion. The hand is stuck to the cannon pinion very well, which means if the watch takes a bang or a drop, as long as nothing else breaks, the hand shouldn't shake and then get stuck on the dial indicators again. With that done, let's put this back in the case. And snaps back into place, and we're just going to go around and double check and make sure that everything works. And looks like, here we go again, we're hitting that indicator, just the 3 indicator this time, right there on the reverse. So what I'm going to do is a little bit different. I'm actually going to flatten out that hand so that we don't have that little angle at the tip, and that should allow us to get through this without any issues. So again, we're going to pop this open. take the hand off if I can. And if we look closely, you can see where that's something I like to see. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Looks like somebody used a stake set or something similar to pound down the opening and tighten up that opening on the minute hand, and they've done some damage to the hand. Is that common? It's easy to find the right hand, and again, like I said, these hands are not for this particular watch, but we're going to straighten that hand out. So I'm going to pop this off, we're going to straighten that hand out, and then we're going to test it again and see how well it works. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I want to show you what I did. If we come around here, you'll notice that if you look through the watch hand itself, the tip of that hand, the minute hand, is not bent as far as it used to be. And now either way I wind this, going forward or straight, it now has clearance against all the dial indicators. Let's blow this off real quick and make sure there's no dust on it. And so far so good. I like the way that works. And we're going to recase this again, just get the case back together. Snap that shut, and we are going to go ahead and give this another set to see if we have any hitting on the dial indicators. And you can see there the minute hand is fine, but the hour hand is getting stuck at the 12 o'clock position. Not a good thing, and that seems pretty loose, so we're going to adjust that hour hand to get past that part of it. And let's see if it sticks to the 6, and it does. Let's pull these hands off and do this the right way. For this, I'm going to use my hand remover tools. Let's get this in focus. And you can see I'm going to just put a piece of plastic to shield my watch dial. I'm going to pull these hands off very gently. Put those aside. And drop these hands off. That hand seems awful long for this particular watch. I may have to shorten it. Just to give us some clearance, and I think I will. I think we can solve that same problem, because that hand wasn't made for this particular dial. Okay guys, so what I typically do is I will get this and trim the hand. Okay, so there's our hand, and now I'm going to file that down with a fine file. So I've got my fine file here, and I'm just going to file that down a little bit. Okay, so now what I've done is I've trimmed our hour hand, and I'm going to insert that onto the watch movement. Again, we're going to use the opened end of our hand tool and just push that down very gently onto the watch movement, making sure it has clearance. Again, we want to make sure it has clearance all the way around. It's not rubbing against the dial, because it will leave a mark in the dial. And looks like we're good here. I'm going to set this over to 9 o'clock. And now I'll put the minute hand back on. We know we solved the problem with our minute hand. And now we have to test both hands and make sure that there is no rubbing against the entire movement in either direction. Looks like we're good that way, and it looks like we're good this way. And I'm going to recase this and give it one more test. Looks good. So that is how you would adjust an off-market set of hands for a particular vintage or antique watch. Just keep in mind, if you have a wristwatch like this and you're using a set of hands like that, these hands were probably made for a beveled dial or a curved dial. And unfortunately, with a straight dial or a flat dial, we have to be conscious of the level of the dial indicators, which sit up about 0.5 millimeter off the dial. So that little bend that was in the original minute hand was always going to be an issue, and it looks like now we've solved that particular problem. And I'll just set the time. I believe it's about 9 o'clock. It is 9:09. And we're good to go. I hope you liked this video, guys. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, please fill them out in the comment section below. I'll put a link to the tools on my website and a little bit of an article on how to do this. So if you click that link below, you can find out where to get these tools from one of my associate accounts. I appreciate all the viewers that I have. Thank you. It looks like I'm gonna hit 3,700 subscribers this weekend, and I appreciate all your support. Take care, guys, and happy watchmaking.